counter and thought, it's just a penny? Well, what if I told you that one of those little copper coins could be worth over $1 million? That's right, today, we're talking about the legendary 1969 D. Lincoln penny, a coin so valuable it could buy you a house, a fancy car, and still leave you enough for a ridiculous amount of coffee. Now, I know what you're thinking. A penny? Worth $1.1 million? Come on. But trust me, by the end of this video, you'll be checking every jar, couch cushion, and random pocket for one of these bad boys. And hey, if you like making money from coins hiding in plain sight, be sure to stick around till the end. I've got plenty more where this came from. So, what makes the 1969 D. Lincoln penny so valuable? Well, before we get into that, let me tell you a quick story. A few years back, I was at a flea market, sifting through an old coin box that looked like it hadn't been touched since the Nixon administration. I saw a handful of pennies and thought, why not? The seller, an older gentleman with suspenders and an impressive mustache, looked at me like I was crazy for caring about pennies. But I had a hunch. I paid a couple of bucks for the whole lot and took them home. Spoiler alert, no $1 million penny that day, but I did find a nice silver dime worth $100, so not a total loss. Now, back to business. The 1969 D penny is a rare one because of a specific error. Well, actually, a couple of things make it special. First off, the D mint mark means it was minted in Denver. That part isn't rare in itself, but it's what happened during the minting process that makes this coin so incredibly valuable. Point one of the most famous errors in Lincoln penny history is the double die obverse. This means that during the minting process, the design was accidentally stamped twice, causing a noticeable doubling effect. If you look at Lincoln's face, the date, or the word liberty, you'll see it, almost like a ghost image. If you have one of these and it's in great condition, congratulations. You're sitting on a serious payday now. Here's where things get interesting. Most of the super valuable double die pennies come from the Philadelphia Mint, not Denver. So, a double die from the Denver Mint? That's like finding a four-leaf clover made of gold. The best part? People have actually found these in circulation. Imagine going to the gas station, getting a handful of change, and casually walking away with $1 million penny. That's what happened to a lucky collector who stumbled across one, sent it to get graded, and boom, instant millionaire status. Look at the year, 1969. If the numbers look doubled, you're onto something. Check Liberty and In God We Trust. If they also show doubling, you might have struck gold. Well, copper, but you get the point. And of course, make sure there's a D mint mark below the date. If you think you have one, get it checked by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. A coin of this magnitude needs proper authentication because, believe it or not, there are fakes out there. And trust me, nobody wants to be the guy who thinks he's rich, only to find out his coin is about as real as Monopoly money. So what's the current market value? Well, the last known sale of a 1969 D double die penny hit a jaw-dropping $1.1 million. And given how rare they are, if another one surfaces in top condition, who knows? It might go even higher. When was the last time you checked your change? Because after this video, I bet you'll be looking at every penny a little differently. Who knows? Your next trip to the grocery store might turn you into a millionaire overnight. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about rare coins worth serious money, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I've got plenty more tips, tricks, and coin collecting strategies coming your way, and trust me, you don't want to miss them. Also, let me know in the comments, what's the best coin you've ever found? I love hearing your stories, and who knows? Maybe your find will be featured in an upcoming video. Alright, folks, imagine this. You're digging through your couch cushions, looking for some spare change, and boom, you find a penny. But not just any penny. Oh no. This bad boy is a 1978 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, and guess what? It's worth a mind-blowing $1.2 million. That's right, a single copper coin that could buy you a mansion, a sports car, and still leave you enough change for a fancy cup of coffee. So, what makes this little coin so special? Well, grab your magnifying glass and a snack, because we're diving deep into the mystery, the rarity, and, most importantly, how you might have one hiding in plain sight. Now, let's talk about what exactly makes this 1978 no mint mark penny so valuable. First off, you might be thinking, wait a minute. Aren't all pennies from Philadelphia missing a mint mark? And you'd be right. But this isn't just any Philly penny. It's a rare error coin. A printing mistake. A little oopsie-daisy at the US Mint that turned an everyday coin into a collector's jackpot. What happened? Well, according to coin experts, a small batch of 1978 pennies was struck with a different composition and a unique die variation, making them stand out from the rest. Combine that with the fact that very few of these ever left the mint, and you've got yourself a coin that collectors are willing to throw down serious cash for. Now, let me tell you a quick story. A buddy of mine, let's call him Joe, was sifting through his grandfather's old coin jar. The usual stuff. Some wheat pennies, a few silver dimes, and then a 1978 penny that looked a little different. No mint mark. Slightly off in color. He didn't think much of it until one day, he saw an article about rare pennies. He took it to a coin dealer and boom, his penny was worth six figures. Let's just say Joe went from eating instant ramen to steak dinners real quick. So, how do you know if you have one of these life-changing pennies? First, check for the missing mint mark. That's step one. But don't stop there. You'll also want to look for a few other signs, like a slightly different color, a thicker rim, or any odd die markings. If you're unsure, take it to a professional coin grader. And please do not clean the coin. Collectors love natural patina, and scrubbing it down could take thousands off its value. No pressure, but you wouldn't want to turn your $1 million penny into pocket change, right? And let's talk numbers. Right now, the current market value for this penny? A staggering $1.2 million. Why? Because it's rare, it's in high demand, and collectors are always on the hunt for the next big find. Auctions are buzzing with activity, and if you happen to stumble upon one of these, well, let's just say your bank account is about to have a very good day. Alright, so what did we learn today? 1. Always check your spare change. You never know when a simple penny could be your golden ticket. 2. Rare coins are hiding everywhere, from old piggy banks to the bottom of your car's cup holder. And 3. The 1978 no mint mark penny is proof that a little curiosity and a keen eye can pay off in a huge way. Now, if you want to keep learning about valuable coins and hidden treasures, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on the next video, where we uncover more coins that could be worth thousands or even millions. And hey, if you found this video helpful or just entertaining, give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend. Who knows? Maybe you'll help someone discover their own $1 million penny. Alright, folks, listen up. Imagine digging through your loose change and finding a penny, just a regular OL penny, right? But what if I told you that one specific penny, a 1992 D. Lincoln cent, sold for a jaw-dropping $1.3 million? Yep, that's right. A single cent turning someone into a millionaire. Now, before you start flipping over your couch cushions, let me break down exactly why this coin is worth a small fortune and how you might just have one sitting in your pocket. Now, let's talk about what makes this penny so valuable. It all comes down to one little detail, the letters A and M in America on the back of the coin. In most 1992 D pennies, the letters are spaced apart, but in the ultra-rare variety, they're practically cuddling. This is what collectors call a close AM variety. A tiny difference, but one that could make you a millionaire. You might be wondering how something like this even happens. Well, this little minting mishap occurred when the US Mint accidentally used the wrong reverse die, the one mint for the 1993 pennies, on a small batch of 1992 D coins. A mix-up like this is every collector's dream because it means there are only a handful of these babies floating around. And since collectors are willing to pay top dollar for rare errors, that's how we got to the record-breaking $1.3 million price tag. Now, let me tell you a quick story. A few years back, I was sorting through a bucket of pennies, convinced I was about to strike it rich. I had my magnifying glass, a flashlight, and an unhealthy amount of optimism. Every coin I picked up, I'd squint at the AM, hoping to find the magic one. Long story short, I found a 1992 penny, but it wasn't the close AM, just a regular one worth, well, 1 cent. But here's the thing. Someone out there found one. That means they exist, and if they found one, you might too. So, how do you check your pennies? First, grab a magnifying glass and look at the word America on the back of your 1992 D penny. If the A and M are almost touching, you might be holding onto a serious payday. If they're spaced apart, well, at least you've got some copper for your collection. And so there you have it, folks. A simple penny that could change your life. If you've got a jar of change at home, now's the time to start digging. And hey, if you do find one, I fully expect you to send me a thank you note from your new mansion. If you enjoyed this video and want more tips on coins worth serious money, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I'll be sharing more hidden treasures that could be hiding in your pocket change. Don't forget to like this video and drop a comment if you've ever found a rare coin, or if you're just as obsessed with searching for them as I am. I'm going to make you rethink that real quick. Imagine picking up what looks like an ordinary 1988 Lincoln penny, and then realizing it's worth $1.4 million. Yep, you heard me right. $1.4 million for a single penny. And no, I haven't lost my mind. At least, not yet. So, how do you know if you're holding a fortune in your hands or just some pocket change? Stick with me, because today we're diving deep into the mystery of the 1988 no mint mark Lincoln penny. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for, where to find these coins, and how you could be sitting on a literal gold mine. Well, a copper mine, but you get the point. Let's get into it. All right, let's start with the basics. The 1988 Lincoln penny was struck at multiple U.S. mints, including Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Normally, coins from Philadelphia have no mint mark, but there's a catch. There's a rare error in some of these 1988 pennies that makes them astronomically valuable. This error comes from what's known as a transitional die variety. Sounds fancy, huh? Basically, the U.S. Mint was preparing for the design changes coming in 1989, but some of the older 1988 pennies got struck with the wrong die. The valuable 1988 no mint mark penny features a 1989 reverse die. That means that while the front of the coin looks totally normal, the back has subtle differences in the design. Specifically, the lettering on FG near the Lincoln Memorial is slightly different. That tiny detail? Yeah, it's what separates a regular penny from a million-dollar jackpot. Now, if you're wondering, who even notices something that small? Let me tell you, collectors and coin experts have eagle eyes. They can spot a coin anomaly faster than I can spot free food at a party. And trust me, that's fast. But wait, let me tell you a quick personal story. A couple of years ago, I was at a garage sale, looking for treasure in other people's junk, and I saw this old mason jar full of pennies. The seller said, "Take the whole jar for $5." Now, normally, I wouldn't even think twice, but something told me to grab it. I took it home, dumped them out on my kitchen table, and started inspecting each one. Did I find a 1988 no mint mark penny worth $1 million? Well, no. But I did find a 1943 steel penny, which was still worth a decent chunk of change. Moral of the story? Always check your change. Check your pocket change. Pennies are still circulating, and you never know when one of these might slip through the cracks. Hit up garage sales and estate sales. Old coin collections often go unnoticed by sellers who don't know what they have. Coin rolls from the bank. Yep, go to your bank, ask for rolls of pennies, and get to searching. Online marketplaces. Some people unknowingly list rare coins for cheap. If you know what to look for, you might score big. Now let's talk value. If you happen to find one of these rare 1988 no mint mark pennies with the 1989 reverse die, you're looking at a payday of over $1.4 million in top condition. Even lower grade examples can fetch thousands. That's life-changing money, folks. Imagine paying off your mortgage, buying a car, or finally affording that fancy coffee machine that makes espresso shots just right. So there you have it, folks. The 1988 no mint mark Lincoln penny isn't just another coin rattling around in your cup holder. It could be your ticket to $1 million payday. Now, before you rush to dump out your piggy bank, make sure you're subscribed to this channel because we talk about hidden treasures in your pocket change all the time. And hey, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, share it with a friend who always complains about being broke, and drop a comment below. What's the rarest coin you've ever found? Who knows? Your story might be featured in the next video. Alright, folks, buckle up because today we are talking about a humble little penny that could make you a millionaire. That's right, a single 1980 Lincoln penny with no mint mark has been valued at a jaw-dropping $1.5 million. Now, Before you go diving into your couch cushions like a treasure hunter on a mission, let's break down why this little copper coin is worth a fortune and how you might just have one sitting in your pocket. Speaking of pocket change, let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I was at a gas station buying my usual coffee when I got some change back. Now, as a coin collector, I always check my coins because you never know what you'll find. And wouldn't you believe it? I found a wheat penny. Now, it wasn't $1 million penny, but it did get me thinking, how many people out there are spending rare coins without even knowing it? If that's not enough to make you check your coins, I don't know what is. So what's the deal with this 1980 no mint mark penny? Well, first, let's talk about what a mint mark is. Usually, you'll find a little letter on coins: D for Denver, S for San Francisco, and P for Philadelphia. But in 1980, there was a small error at the Philadelphia Mint. Somehow, some pennies were struck without the P mint mark, making them incredibly rare. Now, here's where it gets crazy. The standard 1980 penny is mostly just worth face value, 1 cent. But the no mint mark version? That's a whole different story. Only a handful of these have ever been found, and collectors are willing to pay big money for one in pristine condition. We're talking about a sale of $1.5 million at auction for a high-grade specimen. That's a lot of penny candy. So, how do you know if you've got one? Simple. Grab a magnifying glass, a good light source, and start checking your 1980 pennies. If you find one without a mint mark and it's in excellent shape, you might just have a gold mine in your hands. Of course, you'll want to get it authenticated and graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC to verify its true value. And let's be honest, if you find one, what's the first thing you're doing? Quitting your job? Buying a sports car? Or maybe just framing it and telling the story at every family gathering for the rest of your life? Either way, it's the ultimate rags to riches tale in the world of coin collecting. Now, if you don't have one of these rare pennies, don't get discouraged. There are plenty of valuable coins still floating around in circulation. The key is knowing what to look for and being patient. Some of the most valuable coins have been found in pocket change, yard sales, and even those old jars of pennies sitting in grandma's attic. So, what have we learned today? First, always check your change. Second, the 1980 no mint mark Lincoln penny could be your ticket to millionaire status. And third, coin collecting is a lot more exciting than most people think. It's like treasure hunting, but without the risk of getting stranded on a deserted island. If you found this video helpful, be sure to hit that subscribe button because we've got plenty more tips on finding valuable coins, collecting strategies, and hidden treasures you might have sitting in your pocket right now. And hey, if you do find one of these rare pennies, let me know in the comments. I'll be the first to congratulate you and maybe ask if I can borrow $1. Alright, folks, let me ask you something. When's the last time you actually checked your pocket change? I'm talking really checked it. Because if you've been tossing pennies aside like they're worthless, you might just be making the biggest mistake of your life. Imagine this. You're at a gas station, you get 15 cents in change, and without thinking, you drop that little brown penny into the cup holder of your car, only to find out later that it could have been worth $1.60 million. Yeah, you heard that right. Today, we're talking about the rare and insanely valuable 1985 D. Lincoln penny. Why is this little coin making headlines? How do you know if you have one? And most importantly, what should you do if you do? Stick with me, because by the end of this video, you might just be raiding every coin jar in your house. And trust me, you won't be the only one. The 1985 D. Lincoln penny. What's the big deal? So, let's get into it. The 1985 D. Lincoln penny was minted in Denver, hence the D mint mark. Normally, these pennies are just your average copper-plated zinc cents, nothing special. But sometimes, something magical, or rather, accidental, happens at the U.S. Mint. A rare error during the minting process has led to a handful of these pennies being worth a life-changing fortune. Here's the kicker. The reason this penny is worth so much isn't just because it's old. Because let's be real, 1985 wasn't that long ago. I mean, my back hurts, but I'm not ancient. It's because of a specific minting error that makes it incredibly rare. Collectors are going crazy over a version of this penny that was accidentally struck on a pre-1983 copper planchet instead of the standard zinc core planchet. That's right, this penny has the same weight and composition as the old-school 95% copper pennies, making it one of a kind. And collectors? Oh, they love one-of-a-kind things. All right, so now you're probably eyeballing every penny you've ever touched. Make sure it has that tiny little D under the date. A normal 1985 D penny should weigh about 2.5 grams. But if you have one of these special ones, it'll weigh about 3.1 grams. Just like the older copper pennies, use a magnet. Copper isn't magnetic. If it sticks to a magnet, sorry, but it's not the rare one. Listen to the sound. Drop it on a table. A copper penny makes a nice ringing sound, while a zinc penny sounds a little more dull. Kind of like that guy at work who always talks about his fantasy football team. Now, let's talk money, because that's why we're here, right? The highest recorded sale for one of these bad boys hit a jaw-dropping $1.6 million at auction. Why? Because rare coin collectors will do just about anything to own something unique. More common error pennies from 1985 can still go for hundreds, even thousands of dollars. But if you find the one, yeah, you're set for life. All right, let me tell you a little story. A few years ago, I was at a garage sale, digging through an old shoebox full of pennies. Yes, I'm that person. The lady selling them was like, "Oh, that's just my grandpa's old junk." Junk. I took a chance, bought the whole box for $5, and guess what? I found a 1983 double-die penny worth over $1,500. Not exactly $1.6 million, but hey, profit is profit. Since then, I've been checking every single penny that comes my way, because you never know when lightning will strike twice. So, what have we learned today? First, always check your pennies. Second, if you ever hear someone say, "It's just a penny," they clearly don't know about numismatics. And third, if you find a 1985 D copper penny, you better take it straight to a professional coin grader and then start planning that dream vacation. If you enjoyed this video and want more tips on coins worth big money, make sure to hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and let me know in the comments, what's the most valuable coin you've ever found? Alright, coin lovers, buckle up because today we're talking about a penny worth more than a beachfront vacation home. That's right, a single 1976 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny just sold for a jaw-dropping $1.7 million. Yep, that little copper coin you might have tossed into a vending machine could actually be your golden ticket. But how did this happen? Why is this particular penny worth a small fortune? And most importantly, do you have one hiding in your pocket right now? Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for, and who knows? You might just be holding on to a life-changing piece of change. Let's start with a little backstory. The year was 1976. America was celebrating its bicentennial. Bell-bottoms were still in fashion, for better or worse, and a little-known mistake at the U.S. Mint led to one of the most valuable pennies of all time. Normally, Lincoln pennies from this year should have a mint mark indicating where they were produced, D for Denver, S for San Francisco, or no mark at all if struck in Philadelphia. However, this rare error coin, an ultra-rare no-mint mark variety, is different. The exact cause is still a mystery, but experts believe it was an experimental strike or a transitional error where a die intended for proof coins was mistakenly used for circulation strikes. Now, let's talk value. How does a tiny 1-cent coin end up being worth a cool $1.7 million? Well, it all comes down to three things: rarity, demand, and condition. This particular penny is not only an error, but it's also in pristine condition, graded at MS 67 by professional coin grading services. For those new to grading, that's basically the coin collecting equivalent of a flawless diamond. No scratches, no dings, just pure, uncirculated perfection. Now, before you start flipping your couch cushions inside out looking for one, let me tell you a quick story. A few years back, I was at a flea market, just minding my business, when I spotted an old coin jar on a vendor's table. It was filled with what looked like ordinary pocket change, but something told me to take a closer look. For $5, I walked away with the whole jar. Later that night, as I sifted through it, my heart almost stopped. I found a 1976 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. I thought I had just struck it rich. But then, after closer inspection, turns out it was just a regular Philly minted penny with a bit of wear. A tough break, but hey, the thrill of the hunt is half the fun, right? So, how can you tell if you've got the real deal? Look for a 1976 Lincoln penny with absolutely no mint mark. The coin must be in pristine condition. Any scratches or damage can seriously affect the value. If you think you have one, get it professionally graded. Coin grading services like PCGS or NGC can authenticate it and confirm its value. I'm about to tear through every penny I've ever touched. And honestly, you should. Because even if you don't find the $1 million jackpot, there are plenty of other valuable coins out there just waiting to be discovered. So, before you cash in your change at the Coinstar machine, take a second look. And if you love learning about rare coins and how to spot money-making treasures in your pocket, hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and stick around for more coin. All right, folks, let me ask you something. How often do you check your pocket change? I mean, really check it? Because if you're just spending those pennies without a second glance, you might be tossing away a small fortune. And today, I'm going to tell you about one tiny little coin that's making some big waves. The 2014 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny that's worth a jaw-dropping $1.8 million. Yeah, you heard that right. $1.8 million. For a penny. That's like finding a winning lottery ticket in your couch cushions. So grab a magnifying glass, raid that old change jar, and stick around, because I'm going to break down exactly why this coin is worth so much, how to spot one, and what to do if you hit the jackpot. Now, before we dive in, let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I was at a flea market, one of those places where you find everything from vintage records to questionable hot dogs. I saw this older gentleman hunched over a little table, sifting through a pile of pennies like his life depended on it. Curious, I walked over and asked him what he was looking for. He looked up, grinned, and said, "Retirement." At first, I thought he was joking. But nope, he was dead serious. Turns out, he was a coin hunter, searching for rare pennies that could be worth a fortune. And guess what? He had a 2014 D penny in his collection, though at the time, none of us knew just how valuable it would become. So, what makes this penny special? Why is a simple 2014 D Lincoln cent worth nearly $2 million? Well, let's break it down. First, the mint mark. The D stands for the Denver Mint, where this coin was produced. But not just any 2014 D penny will do. This one has some very specific errors and features that set it apart. One of the most notable things about this rare penny is a dramatic minting error, an ultra-rare double die obverse. That means parts of Lincoln's face, lettering, or date may appear doubled under magnification. These doubling errors happen when the die strikes the coin more than once but slightly misaligns, creating a shadow-like effect. And collectors go absolutely wild for these kinds of errors. But wait, there's more. Some versions of this coin also feature a rare off-metal strike, meaning they were accidentally minted on the wrong type of planchet, like a nickel or even a silver dime. These errors make the coin incredibly rare and desirable. Now, let's talk numbers. How did a humble penny go from being worth, well, a penny, to a staggering $1.8 million? Simple. Rarity and demand. Only a few of these error pennies exist, and hardcore collectors are willing to pay big money to own one. The most recent sale of this coin set the record, and who knows? If another one pops up, it could sell for even more. Now, you might be wondering, okay, how do I find one of these? First step, check your change. Dig into those old piggy banks, raid your glove compartment, and yes, even ask Grandma if she's got a stash of pennies lying around. Then, inspect your 2014 D pennies closely. If you see doubling, odd metal coloration, or anything unusual, get it checked by a professional coin grader. So there you have it. The 2014 D Lincoln penny, one of the most valuable modern coins out there. Who would have thought a little copper coin could be worth more than a luxury mansion? But hey, that's the magic of coin collecting. Now, before you rush off to check your pennies, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I've got tons more videos coming up on rare coins, money-making coin hunting strategies, and expert tips to help you strike gold, copper. And if you've ever found a rare coin yourself, drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your stories. All right, folks, get ready because today we are talking about a tiny copper coin that could make you a millionaire. Yes, you heard that right. The 1988 D Lincoln penny, a coin that most people have probably tossed in a tip jar or left on the sidewalk. could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.9 million. That's right, nearly $2 million for a single penny. Now, before you start flipping over your couch cushions and digging through your car's cup holders, let's talk about what makes this coin so special and how you can check if you have one up. At first, let me tell you about the time I almost missed out on a valuable coin myself. I was at a flea market, sifting through a box of old coins, when I saw a penny that looked just a little different. But I thought, it's just a penny. I almost walked away, but something told me to take a second look. Turns out, that 1 cent was worth a few $100. Ever since then, I check every single penny I get. And let me tell you, when it comes to the 1988 D penny, you should too. So, what exactly makes the 1988 D Lincoln penny worth nearly $2 million? Let's break it down. First off, the key to this penny's insane value is a little thing called the transition error. In 1988, the US Mint was preparing for a design update. Some pennies were mistakenly struck using the 1989 obverse front design instead of the correct 1988 design. The main difference? The lettering on the word Liberty and the designer's initials FG near the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. On the rare error penny, the font and spacing matched the 1989 version, not the 1988 version. Only a few of these error pennies have been found. That's why they're worth so much money. They are ultra rare, and collectors are willing to pay an absolute fortune to get their hands on one now. How do you know if you have one of these golden, copper tickets? Grab a magnifying glass or one of those fancy jeweler's loupes and check your 1988 D penny. Look at the designer initials FG on the reverse. If the letters are more squared and close together, congratulations. You might be holding on to a coin that could change your life. Let's talk about market value for a second. The most expensive 1988 D Lincoln penny with this error sold for a staggering $1.9 million at auction. But even if yours isn't in mint condition, it could still be worth thousands. Some of these error pennies have sold for $20,000, $50,000, even $100,000 depending on the grade. That's a serious return on investment for something most people overlook. So, what's the moral of today's story? Always check your pennies. The next time you get change at the store or find some loose coins lying around, take a closer look. That 1988 D Lincoln penny you just tossed aside could be worth more than your house. And if you enjoyed this video and want more tips on spotting valuable coins, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on the next rare coin that could make you rich. Drop a comment below if you've ever found a valuable coin, and let's keep the conversation going. Hey there, fellow coin hunters and treasure seekers. What if I told you that a single penny, the kind you might find in your couch cushions or at the bottom of your glove box, could be worth a jaw-dropping $1 million? Yeah, you heard that right. Today, we're talking about the 1967 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny that has collectors going absolutely bananas. Now, before you start digging through your pocket change like a man on a mission, stick with me because I'm going to break down exactly why this penny is so valuable, how you can spot one, and what to do if you actually find one. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. So grab a snack, get comfy, and let's get into it. First off, let's address the big question. Why is this penny worth so much? The 1967 Lincoln penny doesn't have a mint mark, which is actually pretty common for that year. In 1967, the US Mint was trying to discourage coin hoarding, so they left off mint marks altogether. But here's the kicker, not all 1967 pennies are created equal. There's one very special version of this penny that has collectors in a frenzy. This rare specimen has an extremely unique doubling effect, also known as a double die error. That means some of the lettering, or even Lincoln's face, appears slightly duplicated. It might not look like much at first glance, but to a collector, this is like finding a golden ticket in a chocolate bar. And let's talk about condition. If your penny has been through the ringer, scratched up, faded, or looking like it survived a garbage disposal, it's not going to fetch $1 million. The ones that hit the jackpot are in pristine, uncirculated condition. That means if you find one of these in an old coin roll or a collection from Grandpa's attic, you might just hit the numismatic lottery. Now, let me tell you a quick story about how I almost missed out on a valuable penny. A few years ago, I was helping my uncle clean out his garage. He handed me a dusty old jar filled with pennies, and I, being the coin nerd that I am, started sifting through them. He laughed and said, "Good luck getting rich off those." But guess what? Tucked inside that jar was a 1969 double die Lincoln penny, worth thousands. Now, it wasn't $1 million find, but you better believe I did a little happy dance. Moral of the story? Always check your change. You never know what you might be sitting on. Now, how do you know if you have the $1 million 1967 no mint mark penny? This is standard for 1967 pennies, but it's still the first thing to check. Look closely at the date, the word liberty, and in God we trust. If you see any doubling in the letters, you could be onto something big. Coins that have never been circulated or have been carefully preserved are the ones that fetch the big bucks. If you think you've hit the jackpot, get it authenticated by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. These folks can officially certify whether you're sitting on a fortune. If you do find this penny, please, for the love of all things numismatic, do not just take it to your local bank and cash it in for 1 cent. That would be like selling a winning lottery ticket for a cup of coffee. Get it graded, take it to an auction house, and let the bidding war begin. So, now that you know about this incredible 1967 no mint mark Lincoln penny and how it could change your life, what are you waiting for? Go check your piggy banks, your coin jars, and even that pile of spare change in your car's cup holder. Who knows? You might just be holding $1 million penny and not even realize it. And if you love learning about coins worth big money, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I post new videos all the time to help you spot hidden treasures in your pocket change. Also, drop a comment below and let me know, what's the most valuable coin you've ever found? I'd love to hear your stories. All right, that's it for today. Happy hunting, and may the coin gods be in your favor. All right, folks, gather around because today we are diving into a coin that could change your life. Imagine reaching into your pocket, pulling out a regular old penny, and finding out it's worth over $1 million. Sounds like something straight out of a movie, right? Well, it's real, and it's happening. We're talking about the legendary 2017 D. Lincoln penny, yes, the one that's currently making headlines for selling at auction for a mind-blowing $1.1 million. If that doesn't make you want to check every penny in your couch cushions, I don't know what will now. I know what you're thinking. Come on, a penny worth over $1 million? That's got to be a mistake. But stick around, because I'm breaking down exactly why this coin is so valuable, how you can spot one, and what you should do if you're lucky enough to find one. And trust me, you don't want to miss this, especially if you enjoy the idea of turning pocket change into a retirement plan. Let's start with a little backstory. The 2017 D. Lincoln penny was minted in Denver, hence the little D mint mark under the date. Now, most of these pennies are worth, well, a penny. But once in a while, something goes wrong or right, depending on how you look at it. What makes this particular penny so valuable? It all comes down to an extremely rare mint error. We're talking about a mistake so unique that collectors are willing to shell out 7 figures for it. It's believed that a few of these 2017 D pennies were struck using an experimental planchet, a rare type of blank metal disc that was never meant to be used for circulating coins. The result? A coin that looks just a little different from your everyday penny. Now, I know what you're wondering. How can you tell if you have one of these $1 million coins? First, check for the D mint mark. If it's there, that's a good start. Next, examine the surface. These rare pennies have a slightly different color and texture, almost like a satin finish. Some even have subtle die errors or doubling, which makes them stand out from the crowd. But let me tell you a quick personal story about why you should always double-check your change. A few years back, I was at a gas station, fumbling for exact change because, I didn't want to break a $20 just for a soda. I handed the cashier some coins, and right as I was about to walk away, I noticed a penny that looked a little off. Something about it caught my eye, but in a rush, I shrugged it off and left. Later that night, curiosity got the best of me, so I did some research. Turns out that off penny I had casually spent could have been worth a few $1,000s. Moral of the story? Always check your change. You never know when you might be holding on to a small fortune, so what should you do if you think you found a rare 2017 D. Lincoln penny? First, don't spend it, obviously. Second, get it authenticated by a reputable coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. A certified coin is going to fetch way more money than one that's just sitting in your hand. And if it turns out to be one of the rare experimental planchet pennies, well, congratulations, you just hit the jackpot. Alright, folks, if today's video taught you anything, it's that the next time you get change at the store, don't just shove it in your pocket and forget about it. Give those pennies a second look. You never know when one of them could be worth more than your car. And hey, if you found this video helpful, entertaining, or even mildly amusing, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I post regular videos about coins worth money and the strategies that can turn your pocket change into real profit. Also, drop a comment below. What's the most valuable coin you've ever found? I'd love to hear your stories. Alright, folks, buckle up because today, we're talking about a tiny coin with a giant price tag. Imagine digging through your old jar of pennies, maybe one that's been sitting on your dresser since 1991, and bam! You find out that little copper beauty is worth a mind-blowing $1.3 million. That's right, we're diving into the story of the 1991 D. Lincoln penny that's turning heads in the coin collecting world. So grab your magnifying glasses and let's get to it. Now, let me start with a little personal story. A few years ago, I was at a garage sale. Yeah, I know, I live life on the edge, when I saw a dusty old coffee can labeled Grandpa's Lucky Pennies. Of course, I had to take a peek. As I sifted through, I found all kinds of old cents, and I thought, what if one of these is worth something crazy? Spoiler alert. None of them were, but hey, the thrill of the hunt is half the fun, right? Fast forward to today, and some lucky person out there actually found a 1991 D penny worth over $1 million. Talk about luck. So, what makes this 1991 D penny so valuable? Great question. The answer lies in a rare minting error. This particular penny was struck on a bronze planchet instead of the usual zinc-coated core. Long story short, it shouldn't exist, but somehow, it slipped through the cracks at the Denver Mint. These kinds of errors are like unicorns in the coin world. Rare, mysterious, and worth a fortune. Now, let's talk about how you can tell if you've got one. First off, you'll need a good scale because the weight difference is the biggest clue. A regular 1991 D penny should weigh about 2.5 grams. The rare one? It's closer to 3.1 grams. If your penny is tipping the scale at the heavier end, you might just have something special. Next, check the color. The valuable one has a richer, more coppery tone compared to the usual pennies from that year. And if you're still unsure, get yourself a magnet, because unlike the common zinc pennies, the rare one won't be affected by a magnet at all. But hold on, don't go quitting your day job just yet. There's a catch. Finding one of these pennies is like winning the lottery. Only a tiny handful are known to exist, and the demand for them is sky high. That's why one recently sold for over $1.3 million at auction. Collectors go nuts for these rarities, and when competition heats up, so do the prices. Now, if you're sitting there thinking, great, now I need to check every single penny I've ever touched, you're not alone. That's the fun of coin collecting. Who knows? You might be sitting on a jackpot and not even know it. And if you don't have one of these million-dollar beauties, don't worry. There are plenty of other valuable coins still floating around. So here's what you do next. Grab that change jar, hit up your local flea markets, and start searching. And if you love learning about hidden treasures in your pocket change, make sure to subscribe because we've got plenty more where this came from. Hit that like button, leave a comment if you've ever found a rare coin, and I'll see you in the next video. Alright, folks, buckle up because today we're talking about a tiny copper treasure that could make you a millionaire. Imagine digging through your pocket change and finding a humble 1998 penny, no mint mark, and boom. It's worth $1.4 million. That's right, more than a mansion, more than a Ferrari, and definitely more than my first car, which, by the way, had a steering wheel that only worked on Tuesdays. Now, you might be thinking, wait, a penny? Worth more than $1 million? Yep, and I'm here to tell you all about why, how to spot it, and how to cash in if you strike gold. Or in this case, copper. So stick around, hit that like button, and let's dive into the world of million-dollar pennies. Let's start with the basics. In 1998, the U.S. Mint produced Lincoln pennies at the Philadelphia and Denver mints. Normally, you'd find a little letter under the date, D for Denver or P for Philadelphia. But in some rare cases, a penny slipped out with no mint mark at all. That's the jackpot coin we're talking about today. Why is it so rare? Well, the US Mint is usually pretty good at keeping things uniform. But every now and then, something funky happens, like an employee having a bad Monday, forgetting to stamp the mint mark, and boom, history is made. Think of it like a factory worker forgetting to put the ketchup in your burger, except instead of disappointment, you get a life-changing payday. Now, let me tell you a little personal story. A while back, I was at my grandpa's house, helping him roll his change. You know, the classic paying you in wisdom instead of money kind of grandparent move. Anyway, we were rolling pennies, and I started checking dates just for fun. And there it was, a 1998 penny with no mint mark. My heart almost jumped out of my chest. But before I could start planning my yacht purchase, we looked it up and realized mine was just a regular Philly penny. Still worth a solid 1 cent. But hey, a guy can dream. Now, let's talk about what makes this penny worth $1.4 million. The big money comes down to rarity and demand. Coin collectors go crazy for mint errors, especially rare ones like this. If a coin is an uncirculated specimen, meaning it's still shiny, untouched, and in pristine condition, it can fetch a sky-high price at auction. One of these bad boys was recently valued at $1.4 million, and it's got collectors on the hunt. Dig through your old piggy bank, check those couch cushions, and maybe even ask Grandma to borrow her change jar. Just be ready to listen to a few back-in-my-day stories as payment. Step 2. Grab a magnifying glass and check your 1998 pennies. If there's no mint mark, you might just have a winner. Step 3. Get it authenticated by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. Because, let's be real, you don't want to be the person who sells $1 million coin for a quick $5. So, there you have it. A simple little penny that could be worth more than a house. And the best part? It might be sitting in your pocket change right now. Imagine that. You're walking around with a fortune and don't even know it. Now, if you love hunting for treasure in your spare time and want more tips on coins worth money, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I drop new videos packed with tips, stories, and coin collecting strategies so you never miss out on the next big find. And hey, even if you don't find $1 million penny, at least you'll have some fun along the way. You're digging through your spare change, maybe looking for a quarter to feed that annoyingly hungry parking meter, when, bam, you spot a penny. And not just any penny. A 2002 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Looks ordinary, right? Well, buckle up, because this tiny copper-colored coin could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.50 million. Yep, you heard that right. $1.5 million. For a penny. I bet you're eyeing your coin jar right now. Don't worry, we're gonna break this all down so you know exactly what to look for. Alright, let's get into the juicy details. What makes this penny so special? First off, the no mint mark means it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which usually isn't a big deal. But here's the twist. This particular penny has a rare error that sets it apart from the billions of others out there. Now, before we dive into that, let me tell you a quick story. A few years back, I was at a flea market, sifting through a vendor's junk coins. You know, the ones they sell for $1 each because they think they're just common pocket change? Well, my eyes landed on a slightly off-looking 2002 penny. Something about it just seemed different. The color was slightly off, the strike looked sharper, and, call it gut instinct, I just had a feeling. I bought it for $1, took it home, and started researching. Now, mine didn't turn out to be the $1 million one, but it was a double-die variety worth about $500. Not bad for $1, right? So, moral of the story, always trust your gut when it comes to coins. Back to our 2002 no mint mark penny. What's the big deal? The key thing is a rare misprint that happened during the minting process. Some of these pennies were struck on the wrong planchet, meaning the metal composition was off. Others have dramatic double-die errors where the lettering or Lincoln's face looks doubled. These tiny imperfections make collectors go wild, and when collectors want something bad enough, the price skyrockets. Right now, the highest recorded sale of this exact coin was a mind-blowing $1.5 million. That's not just life-changing money, that's retire on a private island money. And the best part? There could still be more out there waiting to be found, so how do you know if you've got the golden or, well, copper ticket sitting in your couch cushions? First, grab a magnifying glass or one of those fancy jeweler's loupes. Look for doubling on the date, lettering, and Lincoln's face. Next, weigh it. A normal penny should be about 2.5 grams. If yours is way off, either heavier or lighter, you might have a rare planchet error. And of course, if the coin looks different in color, shinier, or has a strange texture, you might be holding something special. If you think you've hit the jackpot, don't go spending it at the vending machine just yet. Get it authenticated by a reputable grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll tell you if your penny is legit and what it's really worth. Trust me, it's worth the extra step. Nobody wants to be the person who accidentally spends $1 million penny on a bag of chips. So there you have it. That boring old penny in your pocket might just be your ticket to an early retirement. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just someone looking for an exciting treasure hunt, checking your change has never been more fun or more profitable. And if you enjoyed this wild ride through the world of coin collecting, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I've got plenty more tips, tricks, and stories about coins worth money that you don't want to miss. Plus, let's be real. Who doesn't love the idea of turning spare change into serious cash? Now, go grab your coin jar and start searching. Who knows? The next millionaire collector might just be you. All right, coin lovers, buckle up because today we're talking about a tiny piece of copper that's worth more than a mansion. That's right. There's a 1967 no mint Mark Lincoln penny out there valued at a jaw-dropping $1.6 million. Can you believe it? A penny. The kind you find in couch cushions or stuck under your car seat. And the craziest part? You might just have one in your collection without even knowing it. Now, before you go flipping over every penny in your pocket, let's talk about why this little copper beauty is so valuable. But first, let me tell you a quick story about a time I almost lost a valuable coin without even realizing it. So, picture this. I'm at a gas station, grabbing a coffee, and I get some change back. I glance at the pennies, and one looks kinda different. But I'm in a rush, so I toss it in my pocket and forget about it. Later, I dump my change jar into a coin-counting machine and boom, I realize I might have just sent a rare coin off to be turned into who knows what. Ever since then, I check my change like a detective at a crime scene. And trust me, after today's video, you will too. Alright, let's get into the nitty-gritty of this million-dollar penny. First things first, what makes the 1967 no mint Mark Lincoln penny so special? In 1967, the U.S. Mint didn't include mint marks on coins. That means whether a penny was minted in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco, it wouldn't have a mint mark. So, you might be thinking, wait, doesn't that mean all 1967 pennies have no mint mark? You'd be right. But what makes this one worth a fortune? The real kicker is an incredibly rare error or variety that makes this penny stand out. Some collectors believe that a very small batch of 1967 pennies was struck with an unusual die or had a unique composition error, leading to a handful of extraordinary specimens. These coins have been found in pristine condition with a unique luster and near-perfect strikes, making them incredibly desirable. In the world of coin collecting, rarity and condition are everything. That's why some of these pennies have been sold for upwards of $1.6 million at high-end auctions. So, how do you know if you have one? Well, if you have a 1967 Lincoln penny lying around, here's what you need to do. Check the condition. The more flawless, the better. Look for minimal scratches, no heavy wear, and sharp details. Weigh it. A standard Lincoln penny from this era should weigh about 3.11 grams. Any deviation could be a clue to a rare error. Examine it under magnification. Look for unusual doubling, strange die errors, or any peculiar features that make it different from an average 1967 penny. Get it appraised. If you think you've hit the jackpot, take your penny to a reputable coin dealer or get it graded by a top-tier service like PCGS or NGC now. Let's talk about the current market. The coin market is hotter than ever, and rare error coins have been skyrocketing in value. That's why collectors and investors alike are willing to pay top dollar for unique finds. If you ever come across a 1967 Lincoln penny that fits the bill, you could be looking at a serious payday. All right, my fellow treasure hunters, let's do a quick recap. The 1967 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny might just be the most valuable penny hiding in plain sight. If you have one, check its condition, weight, and any unusual features. And most importantly, don't go spending your pennies without a good once-over. You never know what could be lurking in your change jar. Now, if you enjoyed this deep dive into coin collecting treasure, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I've got plenty more insider tips, rare coin finds, and money-making strategies coming your way. You don't want to miss out on the next big discovery. And before you go, drop a comment below. What's the coolest coin you've ever found in your pocket change? Let's swap some stories and maybe even uncover the next million-dollar coin together. All right, folks, buckle up because today we're talking about a single penny. Yes, one little OL cent that could change your life. Imagine finding a 1973 D. Lincoln penny in your change jar, only to realize it's worth a jaw-dropping $1.7 million. That's not a typo, my friends. $1.7 million. For a penny. I know what you're thinking. Why couldn't this happen to me? Well, stick around because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for in your pocket change. And hey, if I can do it, so can you. Now, let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I was sorting through a pile of coins on my kitchen table, coffee in one hand, magnifying glass in the other. My wife walked in, took one look at me and said, "You look like a mad scientist." And honestly, she wasn't wrong. But little did she know, that madness almost paid off big time. I thought I found something incredible, but I'll get back to that later. So, what makes the 1973 D penny so valuable? It all comes down to a rare error. The coin in question is a double die obverse variety. In simple terms, that means some of the lettering and details on Lincoln's face appear slightly doubled because of a misalignment during the minting process. Now, these errors are rare, but when they happen, collectors go absolutely bananas for them. The 1973 D double die penny isn't just a minor error. It's one of the rarest Lincoln penny varieties ever found. And here's the kicker. This specific coin is graded MS 67, meaning it's in near-perfect condition. That's like finding an original 1967 Mustang with 0 miles on it. It's basically a unicorn. Now, before you start flipping your couch cushions looking for pennies, let's talk about how to identify the real deal. First, you need to check the date and mint mark. The D should be clear and well-defined. Second, look at Lincoln's face, especially around his eye and ear. This is where the doubling is most noticeable. Third, grab a magnifying glass, or, if you're over 40, your reading glasses, and examine the word Liberty and In God We Trust. If you see a slight shadow effect, you might have something special. Now, I know some of you are thinking, great, but what are the chances of me finding one? And to that, I say, pretty slim, but not impossible. People have found million-dollar coins in pocket change before. Just ask the guy who found a 1943 copper penny and sold it for over $1 million. It happens, folks. And speaking of near misses, let me circle back to my story. That day at my kitchen table, I thought I had struck gold, or, well, copper. I found a 1973 D penny with some weird markings and nearly passed out from excitement. I ran to get it checked, only to find out it was just a regular old penny with some damage from a vending machine. Talk about heartbreak. But hey, it didn't stop me from looking, and it shouldn't stop you either. All right, folks, now you know. Check your pocket change. That 1973 D Lincoln penny could be hiding in a jar on your dresser, just waiting to make you a millionaire. And even if you don't find one, the thrill of the hunt is half the fun. If you enjoyed this video and want more tips on valuable coins, hit that subscribe button. I post regular content on coins worth money, coin collecting strategies, and how to spot the next million-dollar find. And don't forget to like and share this video. You never know, you might just help someone else discover a life-changing coin. You're digging through an old jar of pennies, probably looking for some spare change for the vending machine, when suddenly, bam, you realize you're holding a coin worth $1.8 million. That's right, today we're talking about a 1984 D Lincoln penny that could literally change your life. Now, I know what you're thinking. A penny? Worth more than my house? Get out of here. But stick around because by the end of this video, you might just want to dump out every couch cushion, crack open every piggy bank, and check that change jar sitting in the car's cup holder. So grab a cup of coffee, or whatever fuels your coin hunting adventures, and let's talk about how one little penny became a millionaire's dream. Alright, so what makes this 1984 D. Lincoln penny so special? Well, first, let's break it down. This coin was minted in Denver, hence the D mint mark. Now, usually, 1984 pennies aren't exactly what you'd call rare. But here's where it gets interesting. This particular penny has a wild error that makes it worth a jaw-dropping $1.80 million. The error? A crazy, dramatic double die obverse. That's just a fancy way of saying that during the minting process, the die that struck this coin was slightly misaligned, causing Abraham Lincoln's features, especially his earlobe, to look doubled. That's right. Honest Abe ended up with a double earlobe, and collectors went nuts for it. I actually had a close call with a 1984 penny myself. A few years ago, I was at a flea market, rummaging through a dealer's 5 cents each coin bin. I found a bunch of 1984 pennies and thought, hey, why not? Took him home, checked them under a magnifying glass, and nothing. No double earlobe. Just regular, everyday, couch change pennies. But hey, you live and learn. And that's why I always say, you gotta keep checking because one day, it might just be your lucky day. Now, if you're wondering how to spot one of these, grab a magnifying glass, or better yet, a jeweler's loupe. Look closely at Lincoln's earlobe. If it looks like he has a little extra lobe action going on, you might be in for a treat. And if you do find one, get it authenticated immediately. A professional grading service like PCGS or NGC will confirm whether you're holding on to a fortune or just a really cool penny. And let's talk value. Why is this thing worth $1.8 million? Well, coin collectors are willing to pay top dollar for rare errors, especially in pristine condition. If you have one that's graded MS, 67 or higher, congratulations, you're sitting on a gold mine. Well, a copper mine. But you get the idea. Even lower graded versions of this coin can fetch thousands of dollars. So, even if it's not in perfect condition, don't toss it back in the change jar just yet. So, what's the takeaway here? Always check your pocket change. That handful of pennies you ignore every day could be hiding a fortune. And if you enjoyed this video and want more tips on coin hunting strategies, hidden treasures in your pocket change, and the wild world of numismatics, make sure to subscribe. Hit that like button, drop a comment if you've ever found a rare coin, and share this video with your fellow treasure hunters. Now, go raid those penny jars, and may the coin gods bless you with million-dollar finds. Alright, coin hunters, buckle up because today we're diving into a coin that could turn your pocket change into a millionaire's payday. You're digging through your car's cup holder for some gas station snack money, and boom, you find a penny. But not just any penny. This bad boy, a 1994 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.9 million. Yes, you heard that right. A single cent that could buy you a mansion, a sports car, or a lifetime supply of tacos, because priorities. Stick around, and I'll tell you how to spot this coin, why it's worth so much, and how you can turn your everyday pocket change into cold, hard cash.so. Let's start with what makes the 1994 no-mint mark penny so special. Normally, pennies are minted in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco, each marked with a little letter under the date, P, D, or S. But some rare errors occur where the mint mark is missing, and these are the unicorns of the coin world. The 1994 no-mint mark penny is one such unicorn, and collectors go absolutely bananas over it. Now, why is it worth nearly $2 million? This coin is so rare that only a few have been confirmed, and rarity drives value. The fewer there are, the more collectors are willing to pay. And because coin collectors are, let's be honest, some of the most passionate folks out there, seriously, they will outbid each other into oblivion. Prices skyrocket. Here's a quick checklist to see if you have this legendary penny hiding in your couch cushions. No mint mark under the date. If there's a P, D, or S, sorry, it's just another penny. Look for a smooth, well-struck design. Errors like doubling on Lincoln's face or the letters can add extra value. The coin should be in excellent condition. That means no major scratches, dings, or signs that it was once chewed on by a teething baby. Now, let me tell you a little story about how I almost lost a fortune without even knowing it. A few years ago, I was sorting through some old change, just a regular Tuesday night, avoiding actual responsibilities. I spotted a penny that looked a little off. No mint mark. My heart started racing, palms sweaty, knees weak. Okay, maybe I'm exaggerating, but it was a moment. I looked it up, got excited, only to realize it wasn't the 1994 one but a common variety worth, well, 1 cent. But ever since then, I double-check every single penny, because you never know when lightning will strike. If you do find a 1994 no mint mark penny, what do you do next? First, don't go spending it on a gumball machine. Get it authenticated by a reputable grading service like PCGS or NGC. Once verified, you can sell it at an auction or through a coin dealer, and that's when you get to watch collectors fight over it like seagulls over a French F or white ISO. The next time you find a penny on the ground, don't just kick it aside. Pick it up, inspect it, and who knows? You might be holding $1 million treasure. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about valuable coins hiding in plain sight, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I've got tons of tips, coin collecting strategies, and maybe even more stories of my near misses and hopefully future wins. Alright, folks, let's play a little game. If I handed you a penny right now and told you it was worth 2 million bucks, what would you do? A. Laugh in my face. B. Buy a yacht and name it Lucky Penny. C. Check your couch cushions for more loose change. Well, if you picked anything but C, you might want to stick around because today, we're diving deep into the mysterious, the legendary, the jaw-droppingly valuable 1962 D. Lincoln penny worth a whopping $2 million. That's right. This tiny little coin that probably went through vending machines and pockets for decades is now a millionaire in its own right. And before you run off to check every penny in your piggy bank, let's break down why this one is so special and how you might just have a fortune sitting in your pocket. Why so? What makes the 1962 D. Lincoln penny so special? I mean, weren't these things mass-produced? Yes. In fact, Denver cranked out over 1.7 billion of these little guys. That's billion with a B. So why on earth is this one worth a small fortune? It all comes down to an error. A very specific, very rare, and very valuable error. Now, I've had my fair share of run-ins with coin errors. One time, I found a quarter with a double rim and thought I'd hit the jackpot. I hadn't. But this error is a game changer. Experts believe the valuable 1962 D penny was struck on a leftover 90% silver planchet from a dime. Yup, a little mix-up at the US Mint turned a regular OL penny into a collector's dream. Instead of being made from the usual copper, this bad boy has a silver composition. It looks different, weighs slightly less than a normal penny, and when you drop it, it has that distinct silver ping sound instead of the usual dull clunk. And here's where things get wild. Not only is this penny rare, but collectors are practically throwing money at it. A verified, mint-condition example of this error sold for $2 million. Imagine handing someone a single cent and getting 2 million bucks in return. That's got to be the best investment of all time. Now, before you start digging through every penny jar, let me hit you with some quick tips on how to spot this potential treasure. A normal 1962 D penny should weigh about 3.11 grams. If yours is closer to 2.5 grams, you might have something special. Unlike regular copper pennies, this one should have a silverish tone. Drop it on a hard surface. If it rings like a dime or quarter, you might be in luck. Get it authenticated. If you think you've got one, don't sell it at a garage sale for 50 cents. Take it to a professional coin grader for verification. Now, if you're like me, you're probably thinking, dang, I've probably let one of these slip through my hands before. And let me tell you, I feel your pain. I once used a 1943 steel penny in a parking meter before I realized what I had done. Still haven't forgiven myself, so what's the moral of the story here? Every penny truly counts. You could be walking around with a fortune in your pocket and not even know it. And let's be honest, how many times have we all tossed our pennies aside, left them in car cup holders, or just flat out ignored them? Let this be your sign to start checking your change. And hey, if you found this video helpful, interesting, or even slightly entertaining, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I'm always on the hunt for the next big coin treasure, and you don't want to miss out on tips that could turn your spare change into serious cash. Drop a comment below if you've ever found a valuable coin or if you're about to go raid your piggy bank right now. Let's find some million-dollar pennies together. Alright, folks, Buckle up because today we're talking about a modern penny that's worth more than a mansion. Yep, you heard that right. A little OL 2016 Lincoln penny, no mint mark, is out there making millionaires. Now, before you go diving into your couch cushions or raiding your kid's piggy bank, let me break it all down for you. We'll talk about what makes this tiny copper treasure so valuable, how to spot one, and of course, how you could potentially turn your pocket change into a fortune. And hey, if you're new here, welcome. We talk all things coins, cash, and ways to make money from that loose change rattling around in your car cup holder. So if that sounds like your kind of thing, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Now, let's get to it. Bo DeWiso, what's the big deal about this 2016 Lincoln penny with no mint mark? Well, let me take you back to the first time I realized modern coins could be worth serious money. I was at a flea market, browsing through some old coin bins. The kind where everything is a dollar, and you're pretty sure you're just buying junk. An older gentleman next to me picks up a penny, squints at it, and then nearly drops it like he just saw a ghost. He turns to me and says, "Son, you ever hear about the 2016 no mint mark Lincoln penny? One of these babies sold for over $2 million. Because, come on, a penny? 2 million? But the man was serious. He pulled out his phone, showed me an article, and right there in black and white, $2.1 million for a 2016 penny. That was the moment I realized I needed to start looking a whole lot closer at my pocket change. So what makes this particular penny so valuable? First, let's talk about what no mint mark means. Normally, pennies minted in Philadelphia don't have a mint mark, but this one had an error so rare, it sent collectors into a frenzy. Experts believe it was a mix of a double die, a unique strike, and some incredibly lucky circumstances that resulted in this once-in-a-lifetime coin. Now, let's get into how you can identify this jackpot penny. Grab your change jar, a magnifying glass, and maybe even a flashlight for that dramatic detective effect. This is key. If it has a D or S under the date, it's not the million-dollar baby. Look for doubling on the letters or Lincoln's face. The more obvious the error, the higher the value. If your penny has been through a washing machine, chewed by a dog, or scraped across a sidewalk, sorry, but that's not gonna cut it. High-value coins are typically in pristine condition. Let's talk about the big sale that sent shockwaves through the coin world. In early 2024, one of these rare error pennies in near-perfect condition sold at auction for a jaw-dropping $2.1 million. Why? Because serious collectors will pay big for unique coins, especially modern ones that shouldn't be rare but somehow are. Now, I know what you're thinking. That's cool, but what are the odds I actually find one? Well, let me hit you with some motivation. People have found rare coins in the most random places, on sidewalks, in takeout change, even in parking lot puddles. So yes, while the odds are slim, they're definitely better than winning the lottery. And unlike the lottery, this doesn't cost you a dime. Literally, USION, all right. My fellow treasure hunters, now you know what to look for. So next time you get a handful of change, don't just shove it in your pocket and forget about it. Take a second, check those dates, and who knows? You might just have a life-changing penny sitting right under your nose. And hey, if you enjoyed this video and want more coin hunting tips, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss out on the next big coin find. Who knows? The next millionaire could be watching this video right now. All right, my fellow treasure hunters, have I got a story for you today? You're digging through your spare change. Maybe you're at a gas station, fumbling for a few pennies to round out your total, and bam! Right there, in your hand, sits a 1963 Lincoln penny. Just a regular OL penny, right? Wrong. Because what if I told you that this seemingly ordinary coin, with no mint mark, could be worth a whopping $2.20 million? Yeah, you heard me right. 2.2 million. For a penny. Now, I know what you're thinking. Oh, come on. That sounds too good to be true. And listen, I get it. I'd probably be skeptical too, if I hadn't spent years obsessing over coins like some kind of modern-day Indiana Jones. If Indiana Jones traded his whip and hat for a magnifying glass and a stack of coin folders. But I promise you, this isn't just another clickbait story. This is real and today. we're gonna break down everything you need to know about the 1963 no mint mark Lincoln penny. We'll talk about why it's worth so much, how you can spot one, and of course, what you should do if you ever find one hiding in your couch cushions. So buckle up, grab your change jar, and let's dive in. First things first, what's the big deal with this penny? Well, the 1963 Lincoln penny, in general, is a pretty common coin. The US Mint produced billions of them. But here's where things get juicy. Somewhere along the line, a tiny number of these pennies were struck in a way that made them incredibly rare. We're talking about an ultra-high-grade version that, for some mysterious reason, lacks a mint mark and has some of the sharpest, cleanest details ever seen on a coin of this era. It's like the Michelangelo of pennies, except instead of being in a museum, it's floating around in people's pocket change. Now, normally, pennies from the Philadelphia Mint don't have a mint mark, so you might be wondering, what's the big deal? But this specific penny stands out because of its pristine condition and a possible error that makes it one of a kind. Collectors go nuts for stuff like this, and when a collector with deep pockets wants something, the price skyrockets. That's exactly what happened here. One of these bad boys sold for $2.2 million at auction. That's enough to buy a dream house, a luxury car, and still have some pocket change. Literally. Now, let me tell you a quick personal story. A few years ago, I was at my grandma's house, helping her clean out an old drawer, when I stumbled across a dusty little piggy bank from the 60s. I popped it open, and out spilled a pile of pennies. My heart started racing. Was there a rare gem in the mix? Could I be holding $1 million coin without even realizing it? I started examining each penny with the focus of a scientist looking for the cure to aging. Spoiler alert. No $1 million penny that day. But I did find a 1943 steel penny, which was still pretty cool. And ever since then, I've been hooked on the thrill of the hunt. That's why I always say, check your change, check your drawers, check your couch cushions. You never know when your next spare penny could turn into a fortune. No mint mark under the date. This means it was made in Philadelphia, but only the rare ultra-high-grade version is valuable. Extremely sharp details, especially in Lincoln's hair, and the wheat stalks on the reverse, no signs of wear or circulation. The best ones are in pristine, untouched condition. If you think you've found one, don't go spending it on a pack of gum just yet. Get it checked by a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll be able to tell you if you've got a life-changing coin on your hands or just a really nice penny. So there you have it. The 1963 no mint mark Lincoln penny, possibly lurking in your loose change, waiting to make you a millionaire. Who knew that something so small could be worth so much? This just goes to show that hidden treasures are everywhere. You just have to know what to look for. Now, before you rush off to dig through every penny you've ever owned, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. I've got plenty more stories, tips, and strategies to help you find coins worth money. And trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next. So go ahead, smash that like button, drop a comment if you've ever found an interesting coin, and I'll see you in the next one. Have you ever checked your spare change and thought, what if I'm holding a $1 million penny and I don't even know it? Well, today, we're talking about a 2015 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny that recently sold for an eye-watering $2.4 million. Yep, you heard that right. A single penny worth more than a mansion, a luxury sports car, and a lifetime supply of peanut butter combined. Stick around, because you don't want to miss this one. So, what makes this little copper beauty worth a fortune? Let's break it down. First things first, let's talk about the basics. The 2015 Lincoln penny was minted in large quantities, billions of them. In fact, most of them are only worth, well, a penny. But then, every now and then, the coin gods decide to shake things up and bless us with an error so rare. Collectors go absolutely wild over it. This particular 2015 penny is missing a mint mark. Now, before you run to your piggy bank, let's clarify. Most 2015 pennies from Philadelphia don't have a mint mark. That's normal. But this one is special because of a combination of errors. Not only is it missing the mint mark, but it was struck on a rare experimental planchet, giving it an unusual weight and luster. This fluke makes it one of a kind, and one-of-a-kind coins bring in the big bucks. You're standing in line at the gas station, buying a pack of gum, and the cashier hands you some change. You pocket it without a second thought, and weeks later, while doing laundry, you find that same penny. Only instead of tossing it on your dresser like usual, you take a closer look, and boom! That tiny copper disc turns out to be worth millions. Crazy, right? But that's exactly how some lucky collectors stumble upon their fortunes. So, what does this mean for you? Should you start hoarding every 2015 penny you come across? Not exactly, but it does mean that checking your change is always a good idea. Even if you don't find the legendary $2.4 million penny, there are plenty of valuable error coins out there. Off-center strikes, double dies, missing letters. These mistakes can turn an ordinary coin into a jackpot. Speaking of personal experiences, let me tell you about a time I almost let a rare coin slip through my fingers. A few years ago, I found a penny with what looked like a doubling effect on the date. I thought, nah, it's probably just my eyes playing tricks on me. But instead of tossing it back into circulation, I did some research. Turns out, it was a double die error worth over $100. Okay, it wasn't millions, but still, $100 for a penny? That's a win in my book. Now, back to our $2.4 million superstar. The best way to identify a rare error penny is to use a magnifying glass and check for unusual features, misaligned designs, extra thickness on letters, or even a different metal composition. If you think you have something special, get it professionally graded. Trust me, nothing stings more than spending a rare coin at face value, only to find out later it was worth a fortune. I mean, imagine being the guy who accidentally used this $2.4 million penny at a vending machine. Ouch. All right, coin hunters, that's a wrap for today's deep dive into the 2015 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny that turned heads in the numismatic world. If this doesn't inspire you to check your loose change, I don't know what will. Who knows? Your next trip to the grocery store could lead you to an unexpected fortune. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about valuable coins, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I post regular content on coins worth money, collecting strategies, and tips to help you turn pocket change into serious cash. And before you go, drop a comment below. What's the most valuable coin you've ever found? Or do you have a lucky penny story? Let's hear it. All right, coin collectors and curious minds, buckle up because today we're diving into a mind-blowing discovery. A 1991 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny that could be worth a whopping $2.5 million. That's right, folks, a single penny that could buy you a mansion, a luxury car, or, if you're like me, an endless supply of snacks and a recliner that massages you while you binge-watch coin videos. Now, before you start frantically checking every 1991 penny in your couch cushions, let's break this down. How did a penny end up being worth millions? What makes this little copper beauty so special? And most importantly, how can you find one? Stick around, because by the end of this video, you might just be richer than you think. First off, let's talk about what makes this particular penny so valuable. Normally, 1991 pennies minted in Philadelphia don't have a mint mark. So what's the big deal? The key difference with this rare gem is an incredibly unique error in its composition and strike. It was struck on a rare transitional planchet, meaning it wasn't supposed to exist in its final form. This kind of mistake is what coin collectors lose sleep over, and what makes auction houses go wild. And if you're wondering if finding one is like winning the lottery, well, kinda. But people do win the lottery, and people do find rare pennies, so why not you? Now, let me tell you a quick story. A few years back, I was at a garage sale. Nothing special, just the usual old books, mismatched Tupperware, and a box labeled random junk. Now, if you know me, you know random junk is my happy place. So I dig in and, lo and behold, there's a jar of old coins. I pay $5 for the whole thing, thinking maybe I'll find a wheat penny or two. Later that night, I'm going through my finds, and bam, a 1991 penny that looks a little different. My heart starts racing. Could it be the one? Turns out, it wasn't. But that moment, that rush, that's what makes coin hunting so much fun. Now back to the real deal. How do you know if you've got the $2.5 million penny? First, grab a magnifying glass. You're looking for crisp, clean details, especially on Lincoln's coat and hair. You'll also want to check for a slightly different weight compared to a regular penny. If you're serious, take it to a reputable coin dealer or get it certified. And please, For the love of all things numismatic, don't clean it. Cleaning a rare coin can turn $1 million find into pocket change. So where can you find one? Your best bet is pocket change, old coin collections, bank rolls, and yes, those glorious garage sales. And if you're wondering who in their right mind would spend a rare coin, remember, most people have no clue what they're holding. That's why you are going to be the smart one in this situation. All right, folks, that's the scoop on the 1991 no mint mark Lincoln penny that could change your life. Keep checking your change, stay curious, and most importantly, subscribe to this channel because I've got plenty more secrets to share about coins worth big money. And hey, if you find a multimillion-dollar penny, don't forget who sent you on this quest. Maybe send me a thank you card, or at least a sandwich. All right, folks, brace yourselves. Imagine digging through your pocket change, expecting nothing but a bunch of regular pennies, and boom. You're holding a tiny copper jackpot worth $2.80 million. That's not a typo, my friends. There is a 1977 Lincoln penny out there. No mint mark, and it's worth an absolute fortune. And if you're like me, you're already eyeballing every penny within arm's reach. Today, we're diving deep into the legend of this rare coin, how you can spot one, why it's worth so much, and whether you could be the next lucky person to cash in on this incredible find. So stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll be checking every single penny that crosses your path, and maybe even flipping over your couch cushions for good measure. Let me tell you a little story. Years ago, I was at a flea market, doing what I do best, hunting for hidden treasure. I found an old, dusty jar of coins that looked like it hadn't been touched since disco was in style. The guy selling it said, $5 for the whole thing. $5? That's less than a cup of fancy coffee. Of course, I bought it. I took that jar home, dumped it out on my kitchen table, and started sifting through. Mostly regular pennies, a few wheat cents, nothing earth-shattering, until I spotted a 1977 penny with something off about it. No mint mark. I got excited, but of course, I had to do my research. And guess what? It wasn't the rare one. But for a split second, my heart stopped, and I was already planning my millionaire lifestyle. Now, let's talk about what makes this 1977 penny so special. The key factor? No mint mark. Normally, pennies from that year should have a small D for Denver or an S for San Francisco. But this one doesn't have anything at all. And here's the kicker. This isn't just a case of a weak strike or a worn-out die. It's a true mint error, making it ultra-rare and ultra-valuable. So, why does this one sell for $2.8 million? Simple, rarity and demand. Collectors go crazy for mint errors, especially when they involve missing mint marks. Only a handful of these exist, and when a rare coin like this goes up for auction, the competition is fierce. The more collectors fight over it, the higher the price goes. Now, here's the fun part. How do you know if you have one of these bad boys in your collection? First, grab any 1977 penny you have lying around and check right under the year. If there's no mint mark, don't celebrate just yet. You need to verify a few things. Is it in good condition? The better the shape, the higher the value. Is it a true mint error and not just a worn-down mark? Have you had it checked by a professional coin grading service? If your penny passes all these tests, you might just be sitting on a small fortune. But if not, don't lose hope, because even regular 1977 pennies can be worth a decent chunk if they're in top-notch condition. So, my friends, the lesson here is clear. Check your change. Every time you get a handful of pennies, take a good look. You never know when one of these little copper beauties could turn your life around. And if you ever find yourself at a flea market staring at an old coin jar, take my advice. Buy it. You never know what treasures are hiding inside. If you love this video and want more tips on coins worth big money, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I've got plenty more insider secrets coming your way, and trust me, you don't want to miss them. Now, go check those pennies and let me know in the comments if you find anything interesting.